Wonder if the gas isn't shut off.
There's like been 5 explosions.
Yeah, it was about 4:45 and I was sitting in the living room at the house and I heard an explosion and I knew the sound, it was propane. So I come out to look and see what happened and proceeded up the street to see if there was anything that needed to be done. And I met the owner of the home that was on fire at the time and helped her out. Well, she had just come home from work and her son was home at the time and she wanted to make sure that he was all right. And she was in a little bit of shock at the time and she was by herself. So I stayed with her and I spoke to her family on the cell phone because she was in no condition to talk to anybody at the time, and just let them know that she was okay and everything was being done that could be done.
I was in one of the back rooms. In my room, I was painting my toenails actually, and I could smell smoke and see smoke from my back window, and a man running towards me and screaming that my house was on fire. At that point, I ran to the front door and I could see that it was the house directly in front of me that was on fire, and the flames at that point and smoke were coming over to this side of the street and over the house. So it did look like it was my house that was on fire.
Okay, and then eventually you had to be evacuated?
I had to be evacuated. A police officer came and we had to leave through the front door because the front of the house was too covered with smoke and flames, so we had to go through my front door and out through the back at that point.
We stood out in the front and just waited and waited for the fire department to come. And the wind was really, really strong, so it was definitely not in favor of any of these poor people that lost their homes. If there was no wind, I don't think there would have been as much damage. But it was coming, the wind was coming this way and caught this house on fire here, and then it turned back around the other way and took the other ones on the other side. So it's very, very, very sad.
And show us where your house was, and were you concerned about what was going to happen with your house?
We're right on the corner there. Our siding has some damage, it's melted. Our vehicles were parked in the back, so my tail lights are melted, and my boyfriend's, the front of his truck is a little bit melted too, but we got very fortunate. I can't complain, you know, the damage that we have is absolutely minor compared to what these people, they have nothing now.
Up and down. You know, like, I've never been homeless before, and the feeling of just, you know, your home is your center kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I've always prided myself in being centered. You know, and I have 2 young boys that live with me, you know, my son, and I've always prided in making sure they had a comfortable home, and it's gone now. You know, I was lucky enough, I got my dog out. I couldn't believe how quick it took off. You know, me and my son were talking about how we don't have a towel or any kind of thing. You know, and we cried a bit about that last night. You know, it's like you remember something you bought a week ago and you're kicking yourself for buying it a week ago, or you're thinking about the treasures of things from your kids that they made, or, you know, like I had their hands in clay and stuff like that. They're lost. There's no way to replace these kind of things. They're gone.